How are you, sister?
In the Vortex.
Cool.
Yeah.
First off, I just want to totally acknowledge you and thank you, and if I could, with all the beauty of nature, for the difference you've made in my life in the past few weeks.
Yeah. Feels good to tune back into who you are, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I had cancer in December, an operation, and I had many contrasts.
Yeah.
And your teachings helped me to so focus on
on your decision to stick around here for a while because you got more stuff you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided to focus on what I wanted. And by doing so, I made a discovery. I focused on that I wanted healthy cells. And the discovery I made was discovering what a healthy cell was. And I patented it. And I'm currently in the process of getting it tested. And in all likelihood, from everything I've seen, once it's verified, and
it will be.
Yeah, it will be. Cancer will be gone as a terminal disease in anywhere from 2 months to 3 years. So.
Because you're putting the emphasis on wanted instead of unwanted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've been answering my questions before I even came here. That's
what the receiving mode is.
Yeah, and so I had to keep changing my questions. And it evolved to the point where I made a game of questions for you. And I actually started interviewing people and asking them what they would ask God if they had God in front of them. Got some very funny answers. So I took the best of them and also the best of my own and put it into like 15 questions.
All right.
And I'll just trust that you know which is the best question for me at this point.
Just give them to us one at a time. They'll be short answers.
Okay. What question have you never been asked that would provide a significant and new contribution for living to our fullest, and how would you answer that question?
Is it possible to be happy all of the time? And the answer is yes.
Cool. If animals could talk, what would they say to us that would make a difference in our lives?
Lighten up and leave me alone.
Okay. Oh, here's a good one. Why do people laugh? Please construct a new joke or humorous story that conveys by the telling the nature of humor and how to create such expressions.
People laugh because of the element of surprise. And the reason that they are surprised is because they think they already know everything, and so they don't allow any room for a new clarification to flow into their experience.
Why I don't laugh sometimes.
We don't laugh very often. It's because you don't catch us by surprise.
Here's a good one. Here's a really awesome one. And this is what I'm up to. This is what I'm up to creating. Because that patent, I found out how much it was worth. It's like, your teaching is going to make me a billionaire. So, while we've been creating our own reality for over 1 million years and manifesting what we want and what we don't want, is there any advice you have for me on reinventing banks, government, medical and educational institutions in the service of freedom, growth, joy, love, magic, and wonder?
Exactly the same process that led you to the idea of what is a wanted cell will lead you to that. The corruption and the confusion and the discordance that's present has caused you to already put all of the components of all of that into your vortex. So all that happened to you, you see, what happened to you is you had a personal experience with this cancer, is that it activated your desire for the solutions that you'd already put there to be received by you. And in this same process, not through some discordant experience, but the same thing that has led to the discovery of this will give you ideas about the other. Most important thing, this is the most important part of our answer. If you don't care who gets the credit, then you can accomplish so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is actually three.
Are you enjoying this?
So there's three of them. They're like requests. Can you help me to heal like Jesus?
What he had going on was he understood the receptive mode. He might not have been calling it that, but through the process of meditation, that's what he did. So he accomplished the perspective of his own inner being, so that when you stood before him dripping your illness, he saw it not. So it's just the practice, the sustained practice of the receptive mode until there was no room for doubt in his vibration. That's all. So it's creating the atmosphere around you that allows you to know what you know, and by doing so, no longer keeping active the thoughts of doubt.
So his non-doubt was greater than their doubt. Is that correct?
His knowing of well-being was so dominant that their disease could not abide in his vibration. And that's why he said, go forth and tell no one. Because he knew if he went and talked to them, they'd talk him
back into because we're not alone. We create our own reality, and it's around, and it will come back.
So what we're really talking about here all day, and especially with this particular question, is just acknowledging how satisfying your connection is. And was he under the influence of source, or was he under the influence of the belief of the person who had the disease? He was under the influence of source, and anyone who's under the influence of source can do that, can do what he did. Was he under the influence of source when they nailed him up? There you have it.
This is similar. It's can you teach me to read the Akashic records like Edgar Cayce?
If we don't want you to go back 20 years.
Okay.
So if you believe that the Akashic records are what's in the vortex, that's what we've been talking about all day long. So just don't try to read them all at once. Just get into the receiving mode and let what you're ready for flow to you at the perfect timing.
Yeah. That's what I'm learning today. That's what I'm learning today.
Yeah.
I was wondering, if you would. I published a book on a unified field theory in physics, and I self-published it because I have contrasts going on, I guess, and I was wondering if you would review it, look at it, and if you see it's worthy.
Of course it's worthy. Send it to a publisher.
Yeah.
Hey, house.
Okay. Okay.
They're eating that up. It's the time for your book.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is from children.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you perform miracles? When will God perform his next miracle, and what will it be?
So give it to us one at a time.
Okay. How do you perform miracles?
What a miracle is the laws of the universe responding in their normal way. You call them a miracle because you don't believe. When you believe, they'll happen instantaneously, but you won't call it a miracle. You'll call it normal life experience.
Okay. When will God perform his next?
Got that already.
Okay. And what will it be?
Whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
People are weird because you want to call something a miracle just because most people don't believe it.
But they happen all the time, right?
But the very fact that you're calling it a miracle is what's in your way, because you make it rare, you make it unlikely, you make it doubtful. Do you know how much is going on? Every now and again, something really extraordinary will fall into place, and Esther will say, oh, that was so great. And we say, it's child's play. You're supposed to get everything you want. And your consciousness here pointing things in the direction, it's what it's all about. And it's not miraculous. It's co-creating with source energy just the way you intended when you came forth. Not one of you said, I'll go forth, I'll get myself so pinched off that I'll lead a mediocre life, and then when I let a little bit of it in accidentally, we'll all call it a miracle.
That's why I think you're so brilliant.
Yeah.
This is from my son, who claims he's smarter than me. And he is probably.
Well, of course he is. He's later than you. He came in on the basis of all that you are and added to it. Everything that's new is more than everything that came before. You can renew yourself with your own inner being, but we're just saying, as things usually go.
So I want to see what your answer to this question is. What is the ultimate equalizer amongst all of humanity, and how to present it to the world in such a way which makes the leaders of the world realize specifically what has to be done for the survival of all living things on our planet to bring all people together as one community with the same goals?
Well, that's 20 questions. But the answer is the equalizer is love, which equals alignment. And how do you bring it about? You just be it and live it through the clarity of your example. And you know you've really got it when they're behaving differently and it doesn't bother you. So there's more there. If you want to read it again, we can fill in more details. But that's essentially what it's all about. Okay. Read the last 2 lines of it.
What has to be done?
Nothing. It's being done.
For the survival of all living things.
The survival is not in question or doubt. Joyous survival is the option. Survival is for sure. Satisfied or not is an individual question and answer.
To bring all people together as one community with the same goals.
Well, that would be the biggest mistake that anyone ever made. Because if you take the variety out of this fantastic contrasting experience, you would slow at best and stop altogether at worst all expansion. So don't root for that.
Okay, I'll make sure he gets it. Okay, with contrast and feeling, our guidance system, there are many health issues in the world. It could be said that there's a major cause of interest in that area, and every single person is born with a natural gift. Is it possible that each person's gift is particularly useful in resolving individual health issues?
Well, you could say that there is a universal vortex, and so everything that everybody is living is going into that universal vortex. But individuals are creating their own reality, and any time that you start trying to make everything a big collective issue, that's when you get all balled up, because then you feel like you need to get the cooperation of the others and what they're about involved, and that will never happen. So if you can just separate yourself from what you think everybody else is living and what everybody else is wanting, and just focus upon the things that your own life produces for you, and then teach through the clarity of example how easy it is and how comfortable it is to get what you want, then through your example others may follow.
I'm not sure if that quite answers my question, because I'm aware of a process that finds a person's natural gift that they were born with. So
But that implies that you made all of the decisions about this experience before you got here, and that's just not true. Your natural gift, if you want us to identify something singular like that, your natural gift is alignment.
Oh, so that would be a no, then, that if they have this gift, that they might create...
Everyone's born with it and utilize it in varying degrees.
And so they could get whatever health issue, but it doesn't necessarily relate to a contrast that they intended.
You're making it so much more complicated than it needs to be.
I do that. Okay, this question, would you consider letting me interview you?
You just did.
Okay.
Maybe. That's a question for Esther's scheduling.
Okay, well...
And she's really busy having a lot of fun.
Okay, well, I can send you information.
If you promise fun...
Oh, absolutely.
Then she might consider it.
Yeah, because I've done some things around similar to what you have done, but I've called it different things. Like I've called it law of success around we create our own reality. That we're powerful and we create.
Good title.
Yeah.
Law of success, and law of success meaning law of being happy, law of joy. What's next?